and welcome to part 2 of my Crime Corner book haul. Yes, I look exactly the same as that video, and that's because I have literally just stopped filming part 1 and gone straight on to part 2. How's that for continuity for you? In this haul I have 8 more crimey-wimey books to share with you, so on we go. The first book that I've got to show you is a proof, and it is Sometimes I Lie by Alice Feeney, and everything that I know about this book is on the front of it. So, my name is Amber Reynolds. There are 3 things you should know about me. 1. I'm in a coma. 2. My husband doesn't love me anymore. 3. Sometimes I lie. The next one that I have for you is one that I am so incredibly excited about because it is by Louise Doughty, who wrote Apple Tree Yard, and it is this one here, which is Black Water, and it has this absolutely stunning cover. I cannot believe that Louise has 8 novels out and that Apple Tree Yard was the first time that I heard about her, but I guess that's the same for very many people, so I will definitely be digging back into her backlist because boy can this girl write. And this one has a very interesting premise. It is set on the island of Bali and begins with John Harper, who is lying alone in his room listening to the rain on the roof of his hut and thinking about everything in his life which has put him in danger. John has run away because the web of lies that he has spun are slowly closing in on him. At the beginning of this novel, he cannot decide whether he thinks that his past or his imminent future are more frightening. The next book that I have to show you here is from an author that you will all be familiar with from my channel already, and that is Patricia Cornwell. This is The Body Farm, which is book 5 of the Scarpetta series. Now, there is a story behind this one. I am missing book 4, which is Cruel and Unusual, and normally I would never skip ahead in buying a series unless I am absolutely positive that I am going to love it. And unfortunately, in the case of Scarpetta, I'm not entirely sure how far I'm going to be carrying on with this series. I have had severely problematic issues with every single book that I have read in this series so far, and yet there is just something which keeps me hooked. So much so that when I saw this in the supermarket of all places for £2, I could not pass it up and I whipped it into my trolley without further thought. So I will report back and tell you whether this impulse purchase was a wasted £2 or not. I really don't know what I think of this series. I am going to do a 3-book overview of it very soon, so we can chat about it more there, but The Body Farm. The next 5 books that I have to show you are all recommendations from you guys. A couple of months ago I put out a shout out for any crime or mystery or thriller series out there which you guys thought that I would like, and I was not disappointed, let me tell you. I still have a few recommendations to check out, but this pile represents the books that I had to get a hold of straight away. The first book that I have is Eenie Meenie by M.L. Aldridge, and this is the first book in the D.I. Helen Grace series. At the beginning of this novel, D.I. Helen Grace is handed a case that she just cannot get her head around. Days before, a victim walked out of the woods with a completely unbelievable story, but every horrifying word was true. And now, a few days later, another woman has walked out of the forest with a very similar story. Pairs of people are being abducted and kept captive, and D.I. Helen Grace is asked to be the one to crack the crime. Next we have a crime series which is much more up my alley and very along the lines of Shetland, and it is this one. This is The Crossing Places by Ellie Griffiths. I have to look at the book every single time I go to say her name, or it comes out differently every time. This is the first book in the Dr. Ruth Galloway series. Ruth is a forensic archaeologist and she is working in Norfolk when she is asked to date some child's remains which are found in some ruins. Meanwhile, DCI Harry Nelson is refusing to give up the search for a missing girl, especially because someone is still sending him strange anonymous notes about the case. Then a second child goes missing, and Ruth finds herself the target of some very unwanted attentions by someone who thinks she's getting a little bit too close to the truth. There's 8 or 9 books in this series, and I don't understand why I had never heard of it before, so I am going to be diving into this one, and I might even be picking it up on audiobook as well, because I'm told that the audiobooks are very good. The next one that I have is a very interesting one, and it is The Murder Wall by Marie Hannah. This is about DCI Kate Daniels, who a year ago failed to solve the double murder that she was assigned and has been haunted by it ever since. The force doesn't think that she is a failure, however, and has given her her first case as senior investigating officer of a man who was brutally killed on Newcastle's quayside. However, when Kate goes to view the body, she realises that she recognises the corpse, and yet she doesn't tell anybody, because her personal life and her working life have just collided in a way that makes her feel incredibly unsettled. This is one of those books that is either going to be absolutely amazing or one of those books where I am going to spend the whole time saying, just tell the truth! Second to last is a book that I was thinking about picking up anyway, and thanks to the overwhelming response of you guys, I finally went ahead and did it. This is Snowblind by Jagnar Johansson. I did look up how to pronounce that. I think I've got it right, but I'm very sorry if I haven't. This is about poor Ari, who is on his first posting away from home from Reykjavik, and in this tiny, very silent fishing town, which is cut off 90% of the time by snow, there is a woman found lying naked and bleeding in the snow. Shortly after this, if that wasn't strange enough, Ari is faced with an eminent local writer who falls to his death, and he is thrust into the middle of this snowy, tiny, quiet community with all of its lies and all of its deceit and all of its history, and he's asked, while cut off from everyone else, to solve these crimes. This one has been described as claustrophobic, and I really love the idea of this sort of little fishing village which is completely isolated, and so Ari has absolutely no backup. And the final book that I have to show you is by the wonderful Karen Slaughter, and I do not know why I have not tried a Karen Slaughter book by now. It seems insane that I love this genre so much and I've never dipped into even one of her standalones. This is the first in her Special Agent Will Trent series, and it is Tryptic. This one centres around Detective Michael Holmes, who is called to a murder at the fairly infamous Grady Home apartments, where he finds a woman at the bottom of a stairwell in a pool of her own blood, and there is absolutely no lead as to how this has happened. However, much to Michael's chagrin, his case is then linked with a lot of other similar cases, and he is forced into working with Special Agent Will Trent, who he absolutely loathes. And apparently this series is not for the faint of heart, so I will trigger warning this one away from all of the other ones, which of course have their own brutal content, but apparently this one has quite a lot of gore, so I'll let you know what I think when I come back to it. But it's Karen Slaughter. I'm looking forward to reading this. As always, please let me know in the comments if you have read any of these books, or if you have any other recommendations for first books in series that you absolutely loved. And, you know, if you hated any of these books, you can totally let me know about that in the comments, because it ain't gonna put me off, but it might send me in there with a more critical eye, and you guys might get more sarcasm in my Goodreads update. The win-win for everybody. I'll see you all soon.